So Maurice, you yourself, you're an investor, and you head Proven and Probable, a well-known publication. What sorts of key takeaways here at the New Orleans conference have you come across?
Some of the takeaways I've come across today or throughout this week, I would say, is that there's a somewhat resurgence in gold interest, but not so much in silver. And I think that kind of leads into one of the reasons why I attend a conference such as this. I kind of do what I will call a reconnaissance mission. I like to find out what investors and the keynote speakers are not discussing.
Like a true contrarian.
And that falls in line with the platinum group metals, which is platinum, palladium, and rhodium. And you and I shared this discussion with your followers last time when we were at the Sprott Symposium in late July. We talked about rhodium. If I can highlight that briefly, rhodium was roughly around $900 at that time, and it's peaked at $1,600 in 3 months, and it's not a discussion. So that lets me know I'm in the right place at the right time. I still feel the same way in reference to platinum with that same potential.
Mm-hmm. And you also mentioned to me that rhodium, it used to be at what, $10,000 at one point. So why is it that it went so low and so much higher now?
To be honest with you, I don't understand the supply and demand fundamentals. I just look at anomalies and distortions, and that's what we're having in the platinum group metals. So there's anomalies and distortions for our listeners. That means that these ratios are out of balance. Platinum should be 3 times more than palladium historically, and should be almost double the price of gold. And it's below both. So those are anomalies, and that's what I look for.
Gotcha. Now, what are some issuers, or sorry, who are some issuers at this conference that have caught your attention?
In particular, I would have to say the prospect generators. To me, they present the best value proposition. There's 3 in particular.
Why so?
Here.
Just go over
Okay,
that.
why so is because they have the ability to deleverage or de-risk their projects. They basically have mineral rights. They take the mineral rights, they have a geological background, and they identify what they believe is a potential deposit. But they don't use their capital to develop the project. And so they de-risk it, they use someone else's capital, and they have 0 debt. They sell the project and they retain a royalty. So win-win proposition.
So let's talk about the names here then.
Okay, 3 in particular I like. EMX Royalty. They have a game changer in what could be a massive deposit. It's called Malmish, and it's in Russia. That could do wonders for the stock, and I think there'll be some press releases coming out in the next 6 months.
So you think right now they are undervalued?
Oh, completely. All 3 of these that I'll be mentioning. Another one is Millrock Resources. They have a project in Alaska called the Stellar Project, and again, another game changer, as well as another project they have in Mexico that we might get some press releases out in the near future that I'm looking forward to personally. Is La Navidad.
La Navidad.
Yes.
Okay. I hope I said that properly.
And then the third one will be Riverside Resources. I'm looking forward to the potential that the Glore project is going to have for shareholders. All 3 of these are completely undervalued. And with the caveat, they are sponsors of Proven and Probable, but we've been shareholders prior to that.
Got it.
So don't misconstrue the message
disclosure.
there. Yes,
Gotcha.
full disclosure.
And any other stock picks under your radar at this time?
Certainly. One that's also here is Fission Uranium. We love the value proposition of uranium. With uranium, it's not an if, it's a when. And when you have a when, it can become a win.
Well, uranium has done pretty poorly as of late. Why is that?
Supply and demand fundamentals, and it all goes back to Fukushima. But eventually that supply glut, think of an anaconda when it eats a big prey. It doesn't have to eat for a while, but eventually it's going to get hungry again. And that's what you have with uranium. It doesn't get discussed.
Which is why you say it's not if, it's when. Is that
when.
correct? Okay.
And I think shareholders be deeply rewarded, specifically with uranium, for companies that are located in the Athabasca in Canada, but fission uranium in particular.
Got it. Now lastly, can you talk about your previous experiences? Because I think last time we discussed it, but for those of us who haven't heard from you yet, why should we listen to you here, investment perspective?
From an investment perspective, I'm a retail investor, and I've had success in real estate, and that's one of the discussions here as well at this conference, but also in bullion, and then in the natural resource space. And I like to deduce a complex subject matter and make it simple. And I think in the natural resource space, there's a lot of ambiguity and a lot of terms that people can't identify with. And I try to simplify it and make people realize the value propositions, again, that are latent here in this sector.
All right. Thank you so much, Maurice, for your time.
All the best. Thank you again.